Hey everyone, welcome to New Way Health Podcast, where we explore topics to enrich your total well-being. Today, we're going to be talking about the power of vision boards, and these can help us keep track of our goals. We're going to dive in. We have today with us Coach Emily Abshire. So let's dive in. Did you have you done your vision board?
I I have it's first time for 2025 I've ever done a vision board.
Oh, ever. This is so exciting.
Ever. Ever.
So
Yeah.
exciting. I've done them for many years. And this time, I mean, I've done them, I don't know, let's say 15 plus years. So I've done a lot of vision boards, but most of them were the old school, like get the poster board out, cutting magazines up and all of that, and usually in a vision board party. So it was a bunch, right? So a lot of people are familiar with that. This year I did something different. I actually found a vision board kit at Barnes and Noble and I really liked it. So I'm like, $15, it's saving me, some certain steps. And I just liked the look of it because it was on cork. So that's what I did,
Mhm.
and I love it. So just know, like, all of you listening, just like think about it doesn't have to look a certain way because it's your vision board. So that's like rule number one. But let's get into like what is a vision board? We
Mhm.
talked a little bit about how they can look in those two different ways. But Emily, tell me a little bit about like share your experience and what you found out about vision boards.
Yeah, don't let the perfectionism of the actual tangible thing stop you, right? Don't let that hinder you from actually experiencing creating a vision board. It could be a notebook. Oh, you know what? Some clients are even doing it on Pinterest.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
have Pinterest boards, right? Anything that taps into that why even I am spending time and energy and brain power trying to figure out what my vision is. Question for you. Do you do it for the year? Do you do every year a vision board, or is it
No, I
like
do it when I feel called, actually. So
mm,
there's been times I've had a couple of vision boards in one year, but typically it's just like I have one and then I'm like, oh, time to put that away and start thinking about it. So I'm really tuning into how I'm feeling. Does it line up? I would say 50% of the time to the new year? Yes, but only about
mm.
50% of the time. Other times in the past, it's just been when I felt like I wanted and needed a vision board.
Are you saying because it sort of ignited that momentum again to be
Yes.
engaged with what your desires are?
That and I had maybe some fresh new goals of like, I'm ready, I want to do this. That
Okay.
tends to be my time of like, I'm ready, I want to do this. That means I need a vision board. Because it just works every time for me to actually see it. It's one thing to write in my journal, and I use a 5-minute journal, so I'm writing things in there, but there's the
Mm.
power of actually putting something visual together that's far greater. And
Could
now
I give you
it's
a
like,
study?
yeah, a journal is like out of sight, out of mind when we close the book, but insight, in mind,
Yeah.
that is what a vision board does for us. That's part of it. I love it.
So let me give you research
Yeah.
on exactly on that note. So it was researched by a professor, Dr. Gail Matthews, in the Dominican University of California, and he studied goals and visions and writing them on a paper and pen, like writing them down or getting them on a paper or something that you actually have to like look at it. You are more likely, 42% more likely to achieve your goals if you wrote them down.
Wow. Yeah. That's
42%
that's
more
big.
likely.
Like you want to achieve your goals. So after just hearing what Coach Emily just said, I mean, you're just like, why not? Of course I'm going to do that, right? We want to increase our chance.
Mhm.
That's a big number.
It is, right? So you do a vision board when you feel like it or a new goal. And I did mine this year because I wanted to experience it. And I thought it would bring me some clarity for the year.
And has it?
Yes. Yes, it's made me more driven and brave, which we can go into the why we're creating a vision board, but it did it. It made me more brave to actually do my action steps to reach the goals instead of just hoping that they come about.
Yes. Yeah. So what is the why behind a vision board?
The why. So I believe it's about five things. Why create a vision board is important because it helps you prioritize.
Mhm.
Prioritize your goals, obtaining clarity in your purpose,
I like
whether
that.
that's a
Clarity.
year, purpose, what, yeah, however you want to look at it, it's just creating that clarity, building your confidence and faith in the whether you believe in God or just the ability that things are possible for you,
Yes. Yeah.
boosting your confidence and self-esteem,
Hmm.
which I did find that creating this vision board did give me that courage and that self-esteem to pursue what I was writing down, which
Yeah.
that was an interesting experience.
And for me, those of you like listening who's done so many of them, that's why I do it because I know
Mhm.
there's a knowing I will have more confidence and more, apt to reach that because I've experienced it so often.
And I can say I have too. I believe that now.
Yeah.
And then the last number, the five, why we create a vision board is the reminder. It's
Mhm.
not set and forget. It's the
Yeah.
constant reminder of what am I pursuing?
I like that last one a real lot. And through our coaching, as and if you're listening, you know that when sometimes we start something, we have
Mm.
all best intentions of completing whatever it is and reaching our goal. But life gets lifey, things get in the way. We need reminders, and what better than a vision board, something you're going to see day in and day out. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So we know the why now. What is the process? How do we go about this?
Oh, well, okay, let's jump into that. Well, real first, I want the question that I asked myself, which is interesting, is when I'm hungry, I envision my meal, right? When you're hungry, do you envision your meal? When you're going on a vacation, do you envision yourself on that vacation and what you're going to wear and what restaurant, right? We visualize, right? We can sort of, our brain can sort of help us, like, what do we want to pursue? But then we get stuck or we get muddy in our thoughts and then we pause. But if we have a process to create that vision board,
Mhm.
um, that does help us with some guidelines, right? Or at least a roadmap
Absolutely.
instead of getting a little bit lost in the details.
Mhm.
So the process can be creating what do I want to create for my life,
Mhm.
capturing it, holding on to that vision, keeping it, holding on to that vision, embracing it, living it, expanding it, and celebrating with gratitude.
Nice. Yeah.
I think that's the process.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So it's and just keep in mind too, like we talked a little bit about what this can look like, and Emily talked about the digital. There's a lot of other digital options too. So sometimes with the process, it's actually good to search online. You might want to use some of the AI, ChatGPT, or even Google of just being like, this is what I'm trying to feel. What kind of like Google images you might say, what image would represent this? So as you're going through how you want to feel, what do you want to create, and all of these, do a little bit of research so that you're seeing some images that could look like that, or ask ChatGPT, and it's going to start to help you really formulate this. Yeah.
Yeah, that word in the process capturing,
Hmm.
right? Capturing that vision and actually seeing it in your head
Yeah.
and then holding on to that. And everybody, I think everybody's vision board is going to look completely different.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love seeing everyone's because then when they tell you about it too, like when we used to have our vision board parties, I would ask them like, why did you pick that picture? And they would tell you about it. There was a story behind it, right? And it meant so much to them. And that's what it should be. It
That
should be
reminds me
for
of
you.
the embracing part. You're embracing it.
Mhm.
There's a story behind that
Yeah.
that vision.
So there's going to be some people stuck on this because I know when I first did my vision board, it was, I would say, kind of a train wreck because I was not really getting guidance. And I'm like, I don't know how to do this. And I had so many like false starts, sort of like I was like start and then I'd be stuck and overwhelmed, start again. And it was hard my first go round. After that, I actually tried to help people. So I would host vision board parties in my home. And it was so much fun because I would go around and help people individually, and everyone was different. So if they're stuck, what are some questions that maybe they can ask themselves?
Ooh, I like this one. And I found myself asking myself these questions, which they did help. Um, I asked myself the famous question is if this was the most amazing year of my life, what would have had to happen in order for me to say something that bold?
Yeah, that's big. That's deep. Yeah.
And then the other question that I ask myself is if if I admire somebody, what sacrifices do I think that they had to give up or that they had to make to get what I wanted that they have?
Hmm. Hmm.
Right. So that keeps me focused and not distracted. So
Yeah.
if I'm pursuing something that I don't have right now and somebody that I admire, they had to do hard work to get there.
Yes. Yeah.
What is that hard work?
Yeah.
Or what did they have to give up? So I can't always put, a brand new beautiful car on my vision board, right? I can't get distracted because I'm sure that person didn't get a new car every year, a new cell phone.
Hmm.
And so that sort of ties in together. Really, what am I pursuing? What am I trying to capture and create
Yeah.
for my life this year?
Yeah. And actually that like kind of goes into, I wanted to go over some common mistakes because this is important and the things that I wish I knew when I first did my first vision board, honestly. I assumed I was going to make this and nobody told me how to use it. So I was very vague. I was picking all like honestly unrealistic goals.
Mm.
So I want to caution you of these mistakes because we want you, when you do this work, for it to work for you, right? Use your vision board. It's an actionable tool of looking at it every day and really maybe zoning in on one of the pictures or one of the words you put on there and just feeling that for the day in a deep way.
Mm.
So don't be vague and also be realistic with your vision. If it's something that normally like could take 5 years to get of dedicated work, well then if you put it on for the first year and it doesn't happen, you're going to not want to do a vision board again. So they need to be kind of realistic visions, right?
Yeah.
It can't be possibly, of like, oh, I'm going to have a new car, plus I'm going to go on this amazing world around the world trip, plus I'm going to whatever. You get where
Yeah.
we're talking about here. And I wish I knew that kind of thing. I thought I just put all this
Mm.
stuff on there and it was going to happen. The other
Yeah.
common mistake is not working with it on a daily basis. So, not reviewing it, not looking at it, not engaging with it again on a regular basis. So, this year I actually put mine in my kitchen because I was reading, I think it was Dr. Alan Chu. He did this study about even peripherally seeing it on a regular basis. It actually really works. So, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
well, really, the best place for me then is my kitchen because I
Mm.
do cook at home a lot. I'm always in there in some way, shape, or form. So it's the first year I've ever done that. It's always been in my office before, in my home office. And now it's in my kitchen and it feels so good. It feels like the right place for me.
Yeah.
And then the last common mistake would be relying on the vision board alone without taking actual steps. Have you seen that before? Do you know? I'm curious. You're laughing. So I'm like curious about your maybe heard some people talk like that or experience.
When we were talking about the process, that living part, right? You actually have to do the actions. You actually have to do the things that are, let's say, for example, I'm getting out of debt. If it's your goal to get out of debt for the year, right? But you're not actually putting that money aside or actually paying that bill every 2 weeks or however you said you were going to. You can't expect that debt to go away.
Yeah.
That hard part of actually taking those steps
Yeah.
over time every single week that you promise yourself to, that's the living part of the process, living it so you can actually get to that goal.
Yeah, so important. So I wanted to emphasize those mistakes because exactly, and financial comes up a lot, like, oh, I want to build an emergency fund to whatever thousands of dollars, and then you take no action. So it's like, what is the expectation there, right? But by looking at the vision board and taking action, you continue to take action because it's a reminder of, oh, I'm going to get there. And month after month, you see it grow and you're celebrating and you're so confident now you're going to get there. So it's these action plus looking at it and really making sure you're staying on track of your, track with your goals. So yeah.
Jen, you just said the best thing, right, is celebrating. That final exclamation point. When you express gratitude or when you proclaim and you verbalize, I am at a debt, even if it's, for the next 8 months or whatever your goals, I am a speaker. I am an author of a book. You proclaim those things and then you thank them and you celebrate even months before happening. Celebrating in gratitude is like the cherry on top of a vision board.
Yes, it really is. It really is. So I encourage you, hopefully this helped you a lot. I encourage you to create your vision board with all of these in place of making it realistic and using it every day and celebrating along the way. We'd love to hear from you, so feel free to reach out so we can celebrate with you. And thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed the episode, please subscribe and share this podcast with others. Until next time, go out and live a life with vitality. Bye for now.